Keeping a relationship strong can be tricky sometimes. Even small mistakes can chip away at the love, passion, and trust that holds you two together. The worst part? We might not even realize we're doing something wrong until the problem explodes. To help you avoid destroying the relationship without knowing, we're going to tell you some common behaviors that can damage your relationship.
Number 1, expecting your partner to fill a void. When you fall in love, you might feel like you'll be healed from your past trauma if you find someone who loves you enough. But there is no such thing as enough when you have that void, because it can never be filled by someone else but yourself. What is ironic and very interesting about our hearts and emotions is that love won't erase your past pains. Love actually will bring up all that onto the surface. Whatever you have suppressed and haven't dealt with will keep coming up again and again. And this happens even more as the relationship progresses further and deeper. So when you start to expect your relationship to fix all your problems and meet all your emotional needs, you make this one common mistake, which is confusing relationship problems with your own issues. Just like building a house, you need a solid foundation to build a healthy relationship upon. If you often feel lonely in a relationship, or you feel like the relationship is in a rocky place, it might be a good idea to take a look at the foundation, which in this case is your well-being and your ability to fulfill your own needs. This does not mean you need to be a perfect person or act like you don't have any trauma. What I mean by that is, before you expect others to fill the void or start meeting your emotional needs, you need to work on healing yourself, accepting yourself, and loving yourself.
Number 2, too much criticism. How often do you make comments like these? You still haven't folded the laundry? No, don't load the dishwasher like that. I told you that's a bad idea. These comments come out of our mouth so easily, but they are all criticism. This is damaging to your partner's self-esteem, as well as the relationship. This is because it makes you forget why you love them in the first place, especially when you're too focused on their mistakes, not their qualities. Why do we do this? We all hate being criticized, but sometimes we just can't help doing it to our partners. When you catch yourself criticizing them, pause and take a look at what's really bothering you. Then look even deeper into where it's coming from. Maybe you're criticizing them for the way they fold the laundry, but really, you just feel out of control in your life in general. Usually, the things that we're most critical about in others is the things that we're most critical about in ourselves. Sometimes it could be an underlying issue that you just haven't communicated fully. When you say, "You didn't listen to my advice again," maybe it wasn't about what they did or didn't do, but maybe it's about you not feeling heard in the relationship. Or maybe you feel resentment towards them for not meeting a certain need, and instead it manifests itself as criticism. Criticism definitely doesn't make your partner change, and it won't deliver the message that's hiding behind it. The same problem, the same comment, and the same result will repeat itself over and over again until you two drift apart. So instead of saying, "Why did you do this? Why can't you do better?" try and communicate how you are affected by it and your feelings behind it. Communicating in a healthy way is the key to a constructive, healthy relationship.
Number 3, idealizing your partner. The idea of the relationship is to accept the person for who they are. Having unrealistic expectations will lead you to be disappointed and for your partner to feel not accepted. Whether you keep nagging your partner to fit the mold you prepared for them, or you move on to a better relationship, if you keep chasing after this illusion of a perfect partner, you will never end up with a relationship that gives you the true fulfillment and that's long lasting. Nobody is perfect, and you have to accept that in your partner too. Acknowledging the imperfections will ground you and let you have a constructive conversation when conflicts arise in a relationship. Let me point this out to you. We all idealize at one point in our life. With our parents and friends, Most of the time we grow out of it naturally, seeing their flaws as we spend time with them. The difference with our partners is that idealization happens naturally during our honeymoon phase. And we all know that doesn't last forever, right? As they say, love is blind. We don't even see the things we don't like about them during that phase. But what happens is when you snap out of it, we start seeing their flaws and go, you're not the person who I fell in love with. But the important thing is they are who you fell in love with. You just didn't see the full picture in early relationship, and you need to realize that that is normal. So instead of idealizing your partner and your relationship and be disappointed in them, take this as an opportunity to better understand them and create a deeper bond.
Number 4, stonewalling. Stonewalling is refusing to communicate with your partner. This can be done both intentionally and unintentionally, but regardless, it creates distance between the two of you. Shutting down, clamming up, walking out, giving up. These are all forms of stonewalling. Let me give you some examples. If you intentionally shut down during an argument, this is called the silent treatment. In some cases, it's even used to manipulate a situation or maintain control in the relationship. To a person who is being stonewalled, this can be hurtful, frustrating, and definitely harmful to the relationship. This could be a sign to look out for to spot narcissistic behavior. I'll be honest, stonewalling isn't always easy to recognize. Unintentional stonewalling can happen because sometimes it's a response that you learn to use to cope with a difficult or emotional situation. In this case, stonewalling is used to avoid escalating a fight or to avoid discussing an uncomfortable topic. This can be seen often in people with insecure attachment styles. It's important to remember that stonewalling isn't the same as asking for space or setting a boundary. Those are perfectly healthy behaviors. When your partner asks to discuss something later with the full intention of coming back to the conversation, they are not stonewalling you. But when they're completely avoiding the confrontation and the conflict is left unresolved, that is when the pattern needs to be addressed and changed.
Number 5, bringing up the past. Holding on to the past can be toxic not only for your partner but for yourself too. Bringing up old fights constantly will create a cycle of negativity and resentment that is hard to break. This can prevent both of you from moving forward and growing as a couple. Again, nobody is perfect, and you have to remember that. A couple in a strong relationship knows that they can make mistakes, but their partner accepts that and love them through the mending process still. Constantly rehashing the old issues can break that trust. So for a long-term relationship to work, forgiveness is a must. Now let me remind you, letting go of the past isn't forgetting what happened. It's about forgiving and moving forward. If you find yourself often bringing up the old issues in a relationship, it might be a good idea to take a look inward and understand why you do that. This also helps you to understand what exactly you need to move on. So next time you feel the urge to bring up an old fight, take a pause and see if it's really worth it, and look inward and see why it's happening.
Do you have a hard time avoiding these behaviors, or have you been hurt by any of these? Let us know in the comments what your experience is. To see part 2 of this video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss it.